Happy Friday. I know it is early in the day. However, it is October. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is Infant Loss Month. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. October holds a lot of um, important awareness personally for me and people that I love and know. Um, So let's start with this. So last night I was up. It was probably like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm on Facebook as well as TikTok. But so if y'all see me doing this, that's what I'm doing. But anyway, I was up last night and I kept thinking, it's always been a thought, but I never ever went into how like indulge and research. Yes, some of it is kind of common sense, but not as common as you would think. So anyway, um, a lot of people don't realize that domestic violence starts at a very young age for a high percentage. It has not been proven because it's not a age gap, it's not a race thing. DV is just that's what it is. It's DV. So with that, I did a little bit of searching, and what I came to find out was most people that end up in DV situations, not all the time, but or have either came from a household that they seen it, they had to live it, like as far as it may not have been so much our hands on, it could have been more so of verbally. It could have been watching your parents take things from or loved ones taking things that that pretty much pulled them apart, right? They had to deal with people with their loved ones taught degrading them. They may have encountered physical abuse in some way, shape, or form, and then they grow up and they end up in those same situations. Now, it's not always the woman um, being DV'd. There are a lot of women out here that definitely are the person committing the crime, right? It's a lot of men that are in DV situations as well. And I know TV always show that it's always the man that's the aggressor. It's never the woman. That is false. That is very, very false. DV has no particular race, color, or or I can't even think it's so early. Or if you're male or female, it's your gender. It has no respect for gender. It has no respect for age. It doesn't have any respect for race. It all comes from the person who is committing it. I know, and what made me go back down that rabbit hole was I still remember, and I want to say I might have been like 5 or 6 years old. I remember the first time I watched my mom run after my stepfather after they had a very toxic, and of course, at that age, I didn't know it was toxic. I just thought it was a really bad argument. This is what happens. But I remember the first time watching my mom argue with my stepfather and then run up the stairs after him. I remember that. I don't know why it was so significant at that age because there's so much I do not remember. But at that age, I remember her running up the stairs. We was living at 11 Moore Street, on in Annapolis. Uh, Beautiful big house with the fence, with the dog. We had all of that. Two fireplaces. We had everything, right? Life was great. But I remember that. And I remember literally as if it's happening right now. I remember thinking, why is she running up the stairs? And I think I was like 5 or 6. And the dog ran behind her. And I want to say either I fell and bust my lip trying to chase the dog. I don't remember that part of it. But I remember we had a dog named Clyde. So the memory is very, 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 very fresh, as if it just happened. And even with that, and I remember that day. I don't remember any other times that I seen her go through anything like that, but I do remember then when she divorced, me and her went through our own um situation where she was just not let me put a disclaimer. I ain't bad with my mama at all. So make sure I say that. So everything I'm sharing right now is past tense and we are definitely healed from it. Okay. But I definitely remember ended up becoming the person that my stepfather was to her, to me. And I remember my first relationship. I was 14 years old, maybe 13, going on 14. And I dated this guy. And again, another disclaimer, not bashing this person. This is from my experience, but I will not say their name. And if you know them, okay, cool. If you don't, great. But anyway, I remember getting into a relationship and it became a DV relationship at the age of 13 or 14. I remember being pushed down the hill, and I was pregnant with my oldest daughter. I remember being hit with a branch off of a tree while I was pregnant. I remember having a sharp instrument held to my throat because I said I was moving on. And again, at that age, I also was very, very toxic too. Um, because some things I did just for a reaction. But at that age, I thought if you did not do the things that I seen and experienced, then you didn't love me. So it became a that's how I know you love me if you did the things that you should not do, right? The opposite of love. But that's what I seen, that's what I experienced, and all by people that said they loved or they loved my mom or they, they were the protectors of me, right? In some way, shape, or form. And I watched you do the opposite of protection. But anyway, this is all at the age of 14. And I remember when I got pushed down the hill, I remember weeks later, a lady seeing all this happen, a grown adult seeing all of this happen and did not call the police, did not come and see if I was okay. I found out afterwards that they watched it and shared what they seen, right? How stupid is that? Especially if you're watching a pregnant teen be pushed down a hill in a ravine and then hit with a branch on a tree. And what you do is you watch. What? And then talk about it like it's yesterday's news, okay? Um, but I remember all that. And then I remember leaving that relationship and going into one that was definitely way healthier. We were still young. So we really ain't have no business being boyfriend and girlfriend, but I already had a kid. So I already experienced enough stuff, right? And I remember my daughter brought it to my attention the other day. Her dad brought it to her attention that I used to try to get him to do what the guy before him did. Because again, in my mind, that was love. And then I watch so many people that are in domestic relationships or households. It doesn't have to be a relationship, it could be their parents, it could be anything. I watch people that uh are degraded or have been degraded. They are used, even and abused by with words, mentally and emotionally, and their children watch this. And the whole reason for me doing this live is to kind of bring awareness that wherever you have your kids around, whatever you demonstrate in front of your children, it will affect them later on. I'm living proof that it will. I literally ran after everything that I should not have ran after at a very young age because that was what I thought love was. Love should never freaking leave marks. No, love should never swell up your eye. And what further fed this morning, I get on Facebook and someone had in their post, it was a male and a female, and it showed the male, he had like scratches, whatever. And then his mate, eye shut completely. You could not see nothing but a purple ball. It looked like somebody took a baseball, colored it purple, and put it on her face. That's how swollen her eye is. Um, so DV is very, very personal for me. Um, I mean, because I feel like it's a form of bullying. I don't like bullies. I hate bullies. I absolutely hate them. I just wish they all would just go on an island and disappear. But anyway, so it's very, 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 a very sensitive topic for me because I've dealt with it. Um, I've watched my children be in it. I've watched my mom be in it. I've also been the person that because it does not have to be a physical thing. It does not have to be physical at all. Okay. It literally could be you just mishandling someone to the point that you're tearing up their self-esteem. You're tearing up the confidence they have. You're giving them so many insecurities that they don't even know if they're going or if they're coming. They don't know if they should make a decision or not because you have now made them feel like they can't do anything right, right? So I've been on both ends because I've also became the I don't want to say the abuser. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I also became that, um, and I had to go through a lot of therapy to get the learned behaviors out adapt to new behaviors. And even to this day, it's certain times that I will question myself because I still have to uh I still have to feed to myself that I know what I know. I feel what I feel. I don't have to wait for someone to approve it. I don't have to wait for someone to say yes, this is what it is. And even using my voice, because I am definitely one that will sit in the back and has so much to say, right? And see so much and know so much. But I will sit in the back just to make sure that I'm not wrong, right? But that still all comes from being teared down over the years. It does come from, just not building up the security and the confidence that you need in yourself. And it takes a lot if you have been knocked down, stomped on, kicked, put under the dirt. It is a lot that you have to now pull yourself out of. You have to now remove all these bricks. You have to now remove all of this dirt. You got to remove all the words. You got to remove all the bruises because even though you can't see any bruises on me, I guarantee you, if I had to go get some type of scan of my body, you could probably still see the 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 breaks and your body keeps score of everything. I still have a scar on my eyebrow from one time. Again, this is not bashing my mom, but the one time that before my mom got help, I think I had like an asthma attack or something. I don't know what it was, so I don't want to lie. But something was going on. I was in my room. I said something, and she threw a belt buckle. When I tell you that to me was what I knew love to be for years, from the age of 5 or 6 and to the age of damn near 30 is what I thought it was. If you were, and I would date great people, right? I was not here dating, but after that one situation at 14, everybody else that I dated after that, they weren't about that life. They weren't about, putting their hands on women or nothing. They had the utmost respect for women, even if they did not have respect for women, um like strong respect for women around, they still respect women. They weren't out here bashing men up like that. But to me, I always wanted a good guy, right? The good girl, whatever. And but if you didn't have some type of toxicity, it didn't work. It was boring to me. And I remember I telling my daughter, my next to the youngest daughter, well, all of them, honestly, not all of them, not the second daughter. I don't tell her because she has a really, really good um boyfriend. But the oldest before this relationship that she's in, and I tell my youngest all the time, like they don't date their dads, and it's so weird for me because I would think that they would. I would think that they would be like the guys they would date would be exactly like their dads. Not saying their dads are perfect, but they are really great freaking guys, right? And it's the opposite. They don't like the good guys. They want the bad guys. They want the toxicity. And I could never understand that. I don't I didn't. I had to literally go back and think on I did too, right? And my girls were with me way more than my son was. Because if you don't remember, I've said it several times in my podcast that when I separated from my first ex-husband, I thought it would be better for my son to stay with him because he could teach him to be a man, and I would keep the girls, and then we would kind of switch out. And then, of course, as they got older, it was, do you want to go? You don't want to go? And we gave them that choice. So that caused a little friction there. Um, so my girls seen a lot, right? I'm sure all of them seen their portion, but my girls were with me in the muck and mire. They were in with me when I did not know how to control my temper. They were with me when I didn't know how to be a mom. They were with me in the midst of wanting to go upside somebody's head quick, fast, and in a hurry. And every single one of them has my temperament in some way, shape, or form, which again, not taking as a blame, but I'm not naive that I am responsible for a lot of their choices. I'm not dumb to that, not blind to that at all. And I'm not ashamed of that, right? Because I didn't know. I didn't know the stuff that I know now. But I was telling my daughter, she's so freaking beautiful. I absolutely, absolutely love her. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. Like I can see her life. I wish she could see it though. I could see her life. I cannot wait until she finds the person that's created to help her as she helped them, right? Um, because she doesn't date her dad. She doesn't date like her dad. She dates the bad guys. But again, I feel like that comes from watching me. Even though I did date the good guys, I wasn't the good girl at all whatsoever. Uh, you could piss me off and I wanted to go upside your head. Like I mean, I had really bad anger issues, and it all stemmed from the things that, I mean, years of holding, years of not speaking, years of um feeling like I ain't shit, or my voice don't matter, or it was, yeah, a lot of years of stupid shit. And with that, I didn't get into counseling until I think 2009, when I realized the first time I really had a problem, right? And I mean, it was bad. I would have manic episodes, and it still was. It wasn't so much of me going to abuse someone else. I was now abusing myself by some of the choices I would make just so I wouldn't feel. Um, and again, my kids still got to see some of that. So even though I tried to hide them from a lot of things, I didn't. And they literally, all of them have went through whatever I was going through raising them, they went through that. Right. And no parent, if you really love your kids, want to watch your kids um reflect where you were in life. Like at all. You don't want to see your kids going through DV. You don't want to see your kids um feel like they don't have a voice. You don't want to see your kids being stepped over. You don't want to see your kids so angry that they have a huge voice and never listen. Um, because that is the journey of, I want to say, probably like all my girls have literally went through whatever I went through while I was, raising those three. And they are amazing freaking girls, like absolutely freaking amazing. Intelligent, so creative. But because at the time, now once you get grown, I do believe that your healing is your responsibility. I absolutely believe that 100%. I can acknowledge, I can be accountable, but then what you do with getting yourself to the next phase is 100% on you. I had to do that for myself. My mom never gave me the full apology that I wanted. However, I wasn't gonna sit in that and let that cripple for the rest of my daggone life. For what? I was grown. I'm over 20. I was over 21. I think I was like 33 when I wrote my mom the letter saying, how I was essayed and twice, and not fully, not fully. So to make that clear, but essay twice while being at a babysitter's house. The friction that we had on, the scars I remember, having an asthma attack and getting in trouble for that. All of these things I want an apology for, and she couldn't give it to me at that time. And I made it a promise to myself that I would go and do what I need to do for myself. In every situation I would get in, if it went wrong, I would do it absolutely different. That's who I am. If I'm at a job and something goes wrong and I have to go to another one, then whatever I did there, I'm not going to do there. Relationship, whatever failed here, I'm not going to do here. And every child, whatever didn't work with this one, excuse me, I'm going to try it different and keep on doing it until I get it. Um, so I had to make a decision that, okay, now I need to go and be able to release all this. I need to be able to forgive her. But the healing did become my responsibility. And um mm, okay. So therapy has always been a very big part of my life. And um my second daughter, she's big on therapy because I always incorporated. I always made sure that it wasn't something foreign. I always made sure that, that if you need it, it's okay, go get it. It's not, doesn't mean that you're crazy. It doesn't mean that, anything is wrong with you. It means that you just need someone else to bounce your emotions off, to bounce your triggers off, to bounce off whatever you have to bounce off, and get help in the guys that you need, right? So and I know my family. I know where you came from. Okay. So therapy need to be on speed dial. It needs to be a bill that you always have, right? Something, an investment you always put into. But anyway, back to the whole point of this. This month is again Domestic Violence Awareness Month. If you have children and you are in a DV situation, please, 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 even if it's not for you, please, please, I am begging that you be mindful of what your children are watching you go through. Be mindful of what you are going through, right? If something was to happen to you and you have children, it may not be a definite say of where your kids are going to go. Let that be enough, right? Um, Also, remember whatever you do in front of your children or whatever your children have to witness, they're most likely going to repeat what you did or be so far against it that they're going to have a wall up and nobody's going to be able to get in, which is still a traumatic experience, which is still a traumatic response. Be mindful. If you have children that are in a DV situation, be there. It's an addiction. It is like being on drugs. It is not something that they're going to be able to wake up and just get out of. Sometimes some of the worst things have to happen before they realize, I can't take it anymore. In some of those cases, they don't ever get to realize they can't take it anymore, because when they decide they can't take it anymore, that person has already decided that you will not take it anymore. And they are now unaliving you. And now your family is left with only memories and thoughts. So if you find yourself in that situation, I am begging you to get out of it, to at least think about it, go find help, pack up. I don't know what it is that you may need to do, but get away from it. If it's not for you, do it for your kids. If you don't have kids, do it for your family, to save them, to help them, because it's a lot. It is a lot where if you have parents that care. If you have anybody, it doesn't have to be parents, aunts, uncles, whatever. If you have people that care, and be careful who you're around. If everybody you're around getting their head put between the refrigerator and the sink, get away from parents, watching your aunts, uncles, grandparents, um, watching them go through DV. And then you end up going through it yourself. And I'm telling you, when my daughter brought it to my attention that I actually started looking for it, um, that I actually started looking for people to actually be abusers, I was like, damn, like I didn't forget it, but it literally, like, you do have to reprogram your thinking. You have to really reprogram everything, like everything. You have to reprogram every single thing to be able to survive and get away. And then knowing that you're not by yourself. Um, it's a lot of people going through it, but my prayer is that if you're in the midst of a DV situation, that you get out ASAP. And also remember that it's not just women that go through DV. There's a lot of men out here, a lot of men that go through it as well. So if you know something, say something. If you know somebody, help them. And if they're not ready, be there. Be that phone call. Don't get too involved in it, because a lot of times when you get too involved, it ends up being you the one that's hurt and not the other person or other people. So be smart, be wise with your decisions if you do have to help someone. But yeah, just be careful out there. Know your worth, know who you are, and know that there is people out here that absolutely, absolutely love you.